Welcome to Mocktail Hour. It's Anastasia Forrest, and I have something a little bit different planned for you today. First of all, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I'm recording this on Thursday. So I'm giving myself about 30 minutes today to record this footage to go live as a live stream tomorrow at 4:30, Mocktail Hour. I am going to try this and see how it goes. I've really enjoyed the games and the music, and I think I would be up to do that kind of thing about once a month. But for one thing, I feel like it's a lot to expect everyone to show up every week. A lot of the people showing up are my friends and family, which is awesome. So I've had about 8 or 9 or 10 people on the call each time, and it's been such a blast. But I feel bad because I feel like they have to support me because they're my friends and family, and I don't want them to feel pressured to do that every single week. Second of all, I way overdid it, admittedly so, and I was spending way too much time planning them out, making them way too elaborate of events. So I'm trying something different. I'm recording this now, so there's no pressure to be here or not, and I won't know if you're watching or not, except that you comment. And secondly, I am just going to talk, and I have a plan, but I'm ad-libbing here, okay? So my plan is when I do these, I think it would be cool for me to connect sobriety to something directly in my life, specifically something that week. So today I've got a cup of mint tea for my NA. Delicious, no honey or anything, it's just good how it is. And something I did this week that I'm going to make 3 points of connection to living a sober life too, because I want to keep it real for you guys, and I want to show you show you a creative way to think about sobriety. So my connection this week is that my husband's grandmother recently passed away at the age of 90. She would have been 91 yesterday, and I got a good amount of fabric from her house. I got some fabric. I got 13 different sewing patterns, and I decided that it would be cool to make them out of her fabric and use her patterns. I didn't know her very well. I thought this would be a cool way to kind of connect with part of her energy, part of her life, and also a neat creative project for me. I liked sewing when I was 11. I borrowed somebody's sewing machine. I made a quilt. I haven't had a sewing machine since until I asked for one for my birthday, which is sitting right in front of me. And I thought, what a cool way for me to get back into sewing. I'm going to sew through her patterns. Little did I know when I embarked upon the project of sewing to start with, I decided just to sew this shirt. I thought, it's just a top. That can't be that hard, right? Wrong. It's complicated. Sewing clothes is complicated. There's a lot more to it than it looks like, as I soon realized. And so I started sewing the top yesterday. I did make a top. I am wearing it. This is the final product. It is out of fabric from her house. I sewed it on my sewing machine. I was able to make a top, okay? Is it the most beautiful, perfect top in the world? No. But I did. And I finished it today. It took me hours, okay? But my point is today I'm going to make 3 points of connection between sobriety and my experience of learning to sew again, sewing this top, this project. So, you ready? Me too. Let's go. Okay, so point of connection, numero uno. Like sewing a top for the first time. Sobriety is a process. It doesn't happen all at once, and it is a gradual, accumulating kind of experience. Whether or not you're the type of person that would count your days, maybe have an app on your phone where you're counting the days that you're sober. For some people, that's extremely motivating, and I did that at first, and it can be really great to see how far you've come. Or if you're just the type of person that after a while, you you know so deeply that you're done that you don't need to count. You're just done. And maybe you're not good at counting. I'm not speaking about anyone in particular here. And so, but regardless, either type of person, the more time you get under your belt, so to speak, the more experience you accumulate, the more days you wake up sober, and this becomes your reality, the more firmly planted that you're going to be in this new way of living. And this is not to say that it's not a slippery slope. Could you always be tempted? Could you see something? Could you see maybe a free sample of wine and be tempted and take a sip and then you're right back where you started? Sure. But what I'm saying is that the more that you choose not to, and the further you get from the place where you wanted to every day, where it was top of your mind every day, the stronger you're going to be established in your sobriety, and you are going to experience a new kind of being alive. You're probably going to remember something like it was when you were a child. At least that's how it is for me, and I've heard that from other people too. You get more in touch with who you really are, who you were before you started drinking. But it is a process. Like sewing this shirt, I had to follow steps. I'm not saying you have to do the 12 steps. You can if you want, whatever works for you. But, there's a process. But the most important step is number 1, just don't drink. That's not the literal first step, but that would be the first step in the book of Anastasia. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just stop. And again, my work and my sobriety coaching is for people who are not clinically addicted. And so, oh cool, my thing's coming off. That's fine. So by clinically addicted, I mean, you've been able to quit before, you were okay. It's more like you're emotionally, psychologically addicted, not like you physically can't tolerate being sober, that kind of thing. Okay. Second point, let's move on to that one. The second point is that it's about progress, not perfection. And I'm borrowing that straight from AA. That is something they say in the program, and I actually really love that. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. If I set out to make this top, and I told myself, I'm not going to move on from this step until this one step is perfect. And I'm going to make sure it's perfect because I'm going to watch 10 YouTube videos about it and compare my work to their work. I'm going to read this and reread this 10 times, and then I'm going to do it. And then if it's not perfect at that point, I'm going to give up because I'm exhausted. No, let's not do that. My kids do that sometimes. Guys, let's not throw the baby out with the bathwater. Let's not expect that we're going to wake up the next morning after quitting drinking and being shiny, happy, peaceful, loving, like everything's great. No, it's even once you're 10 years sober, you're going to have days where you don't feel like everything's great. That's life. The idea is, and the progress is in learning to dance with that, learning to flow with that, learning to ride the waves. And that's what I did when I sewed this shirt. I rode the waves and I skipped some steps. I'll be honest. I didn't do every single thing on there because it didn't all make sense to me, but it was more important to me to actually do the work than for it to be perfect. Does that make sense? It's more important to work on yourself than for you to be perfect. And I'm not saying, oh, well, I'll have a little drink then. I'm doing so good. No, that's not what I'm saying. Don't drink. That's my number 1 rule. Don't drink. But past that, beyond that, just expect there's going to be ups and downs. Expect that sometimes you're going to be tempted to drink. Expect that sometimes you might look back and be like, oh, that was a pretty nice time I had that time I drank. It's normal. That's all normal. And it's okay. Don't beat yourself up. Just don't drink. All right. Step number 3, or connection number 3, is addiction, but you have a choice. The woman who I got these fabrics from and the patterns from, the grandmother of my husband, the great-grandmother of my child, she is a heavy smoker. I only met her once or twice. She lived right down the street. We never went over to her house. And the only reason is because she was a heavy smoker. It was everywhere around her. It was in her house, saturating her house, and she didn't really venture outside her house very much. I'm not saying anything. I'm not judging her or anybody that has that habit at all. But I will say it's just another example of addiction and how addiction keeps us in a box and keeps us stuck. And it's okay. Like, I mean, it is her choice. She chose that. Like, could she have decided, I'm going to turn over a new leaf? I'm not going to do this anymore. I've done this for the past 30, 40 years, but you know what? I'm done. Yes, you have a choice. She didn't want to, and that's her prerogative. It's her life. We have free will. And I want to remind you, you have a choice. So the question I ask you, if you're struggling with an addiction, if you're struggling with drinking, are you happy with this choice? Is this a choice you want to keep making over and over? Is this the life that you want to live? Is this the life you want to create? Is this the future that you really see for yourself? Or is there room for a different future? Is there room for a different life? Is there room for new possibilities of you becoming a person that you can't quite see crystal clear right now, but you can feel that there's possibility that you could be? If you feel that at all, I say listen to that, look at that, remember that, and be curious about that. Because addiction is addiction. It's a powerful force, a force that could keep us in our homes, away from other people, a force that could make us lose our job or lose our family or, a lot of things. There's a lot of consequences for addiction. But it's also a choice, and it starts with choosing something different, even just in your mind. So I'm just planting a seed, and if any of this resonates with you and you're interested in exploring it with me further, I'd be happy to do that. I'd love to chat with you. I offer free consultations to anyone who's curious about their self-growth through sobriety. And we can do that, no pressure, no strings attached. But I do offer sober coaching. I am certified to work with people. I use visualization. I use conversation. I get you to look at yourself, and you might be surprised what comes out, and you might be surprised with the progress that you see yourself making. It can really help to have somebody alongside with you, cheering you on and giving you techniques and support, and that's what I do. So feel free to reach out to me. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Anastasia Forrest. I am not hard to find online. I hope you've enjoyed this mocktail hour. This is a shorter one than usual. I think this is perfect, though. It feels good to end it right here. I want to say thank you very much to my grandmother-in-law, Grandma Jean. I completely love and respect you. I'm grateful for you, your life, and I love this point of connection. I'm able to connect with you by making things out of your fabrics and your patterns. How cool. And I'm grateful for my sobriety. I'm grateful for my people, and I'm grateful for you, whoever's watching. Want the best for yourself. I want the best for you. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye.